Hey everybody, welcome to New Zealand's biggest gap year, an epic challenge that my partner Laura and I decided to tackle a few years back. The challenge? Doing 365 activities all around New Zealand in 365 days. And today, our activity of the day is to explore the little town of Wairoa. We are going to see a lot of different things between a museum, a lighthouse, some cafes to eat at, some art gallery, a lot of different things. So let's check out that awesome town.
After a week in Napier, we are now heading into the northern Hawke's Bay region, more specifically to a little riverside town on the coast called Wairoa.
The drive from Napier to Wairoa takes us along the Tutura Lake and passing a lot of river gorges and beautiful farmland. It is seriously a stunning drive, and this weather is making it even more mystical and stunning.
Once we arrive in Wairoa, we are going straight to the iSite, which is a chain of information centres here in New Zealand, and getting some tips from the locals.
So we just arrived in Wairoa. It is a lovely, charming little town by the river. There is plants, there is a lot of friendly locals, and there is a lovely little shop. But right now we're heading for the Wairoa Museum.
Luckily, there's a rainy weather activity waiting for us in Wairoa, which is the Wairoa Museum, and entry is by donation through this really entertaining donation box. But actually, the Wairoa Museum is a lot bigger than you seem to think it is when you first enter it. There's loads of different rooms going into different exhibitions, and there's a lot of focus on the Maori culture, which is really awesome. We learn a lot about significant figures of the Wairoa area in the Maori culture, as well as seeing loads of artifacts like wooden sculptures, weapons, paddles, and weaved clothing as well. There's a small room filled with loads of different portraits, and then we go into another room which seems to be more leaning on the natural history side of things. For a small town museum, we're really surprised at actually how much is packed into this museum. There's so many different things to see and learn about different cultures from our own. There's also an aspect of the European culture though, as the Europeans did arrive in New Zealand a while after the Maori. But back to that natural history room, we see lots of fossils taken from around the Wairoa area. Even some seashell fossils that were found in the mountains because New Zealand actually used to be underwater. In fact, there's even a fossil of a plesiosaurus that was found in the area.
The Wairoa Museum building itself is a feat. It is actually a grand heritage building of the Wairoa town, and it looks absolutely stunning. One of the things that I like the most about the exhibition is the exhibition called A Day in a Life. It is really amazing the amount of artifacts that they successfully accumulated in here. There is heaps of Maori artifacts and ton of artifacts from early settlers of New Zealand. It's absolutely amazing. It would be totally impossible for Laura and I to actually have a look at every single item on display, but we actually look at the item that just catches our eyes, and we find a bit of a story about them on each of the little display explanation sheet. It's quite an amazing museum, and there's tons to see, and I'm pretty sure that everybody that will go there will actually have a different experience. But we have a lot to explore in the Wairoa town, so we are heading out of the museum and we stumble upon a lighthouse right in the middle of town. It doesn't make much sense, but it has a story.
Yes, when the Wairoa lighthouse was no longer in use, a group of enthusiasts brought it into the town to be put on display for everyone to see. Now we are moving on to the East End Cafe, which is a really cool and vibrant cafe. It's super quirky, very decorative, and we are getting ourselves a delicious lunch. The cafe culture is huge in New Zealand, and you'll find some of the best cafes in small towns like this one. And for Robin and I, we are getting ourselves a pretty delicious lunch. Robin is having a mushroom hash, while we're having pancakes with berry compote, curd and cream, and a side of fries and aioli, which aioli is actually garlic mayonnaise in New Zealand. Both of the dishes are so good that we have to share half and half with each other.
Alright, so we just had delicious lunch, and now it's time for us to make our way to the art gallery. I think it's called the Little River Art Gallery.
So by Little River he means Long River Gallery. Anyway, the Long River Gallery is a small community gallery on the riverbanks of Wairoa, and it has a lot of art reflecting the Wairoa environment. For instance, there's driftwood which has been taken from beaches around the area, to skulls that have been taken from game from animals hunted in the mountains.
After spending a little bit of time discovering local art, we are heading toward our accommodation of the day. It's the Riverside Motor Camp right in the heart of the town of Wairoa. Wairoa apparently has some awesome fish and chips.
I can see it.
And
I can see
also,
it from here.
I've been a bit of an idiot. And I forgot to plan some time for us to do a food shopping. Like if you didn't see us stuffing ourselves enough today, we are heading toward Tui Takeaways, which apparently has one of the best fish and chips in the country. But at first, we meet the dog. However, it doesn't really take long until we get our food. We get amazing fish and chips and we're getting their specialty, which is kind of an awesome mix, including a raw tarakiha, which is a fish, in coconut yogurt, capsicum and spring onions. That's this white stuff that you see on the table between Laura and I. It's absolutely amazing. It tastes so fresh and so different from anything I've eaten before. And even the cute dog approves. But on top of that, the fish and chips itself is absolutely amazing. I'm actually destroying it in only minutes. It's super fresh, super good. Oh my god, best fish and chips I've eaten so far in this trip. But because we haven't been really good diet-wise today, we are actually walking back toward our accommodation a little bit bloated. But we take the time to check out the beautiful lighthouse under sunset. It reflects the sunlight so beautifully, it's absolutely amazing. Tomorrow waking up early with hopefully some better weather because we have a horse ride on the beach planned. Fingers crossed. Okay, so after watching these videos, are you guys planning on putting Wairoa on your itinerary, or are you planning to at least stop in Wairoa because you're passing nearby? I feel like it's a really awesome place to explore and it's very underrated. It's kind of one of those quaint, iconic New Zealand town, and I feel like more people should try to experience that. But sadly, it's not really a video that has a lot of views. When we published it the first time, there is not even a single comment on it, so that's to tell you. So if you are watching this video, maybe you want to be the first comment to comment on one of our Wairoa video. How funny is that? Still no comment after many years back. That's a video which is 4 years old and no comment. How crazy. Anyway, yeah, Wairoa is awesome. Many other small towns of New Zealand to explore are available on nzpocketguide.com. So if you're planning a trip to New Zealand, maybe check out the website. We love to feature hidden gems and places that a lot of people kind of overlook when planning a trip in or around New Zealand. So check that out for sure. You can also join us during one of our live sessions. It's happening at 8 AM on Sunday, New Zealand time, every single week. And we talk about traveling in New Zealand. So if you have any questions, if you want to pick up brain when planning your trip to the country of the long white cloud, Aotearoa, make sure that you do that and you join us during one of those awesome live sessions. To know when they are, well, the best way is to hit subscribe and hit the notification bell, so like that you get some notification whenever YouTube decides to give you notification. For me, on my personal usage, it doesn't really work, so who knows? Who knows? Anyway, aside from that, we also have a Patreon page where you can score yourself some awesome perks for supporting us financially. So the cost is less than a cup of coffee a month, and you get free PDF travel guides that we haven't published anywhere else, access to a secret Facebook group. We help you with your itinerary and many more perks for that. So make sure you check it out. It's a good place to hang out together. You'll like it. Okay, that's pretty much all for me right now. We have more videos coming up on the channel this week, so make sure you check those out. In the meantime, stay awesome, keep traveling safe, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.